Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. I just finished watching Poly Life in the Peach City Part 2, and if I had to give this sequel a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a solid 4, because I felt that the overall movie was just okay, but it definitely missed the mark when it comes to the overall storytelling and other aspects of filmmaking. So over the course of this review, I will lay out a case for why I felt that the movie failed to measure up to the original movie, and without any further delay, let's jump right in. At the end of the first movie, we have three couples whose lives were forever changed by the events of the movie. Nygil and Leslie enjoyed their time at the retreat in the first movie, and they decided to give the poly lifestyle another shot. Terrence and Laura also had their fun, but they agreed to just focus on their relationship and hope for the best. Then there's Tyrone and Keisha. They were the most dysfunctional couple that came to the retreat, and by the end of the movie, Tyrone wanted to divorce Keisha. So heading into the sequel, I wanted part 2 of Poly Life in the Peach City to accomplish 3 things. The first would be for the story to take a deeper dive into the polyamory lifestyle and how the lifestyle is not for everybody. Secondly, I wanted the sequel to give a proper update for the couples from the first movie. For example, if Nygil and Leslie really took a deeper dive into the poly lifestyle, what exactly happened to them over the course of their journey to this sequel? If Terrence and Laura were fully committed to each other, what exactly did that look like from the ending of the first movie until the sequel? And if Terrence and Keisha were really at odds, what did that look like and how were they able to resolve the situation? In my opinion, character development in these type of movies can either make or break sequels like this. And lastly, I wanted this sequel to double down on the things that worked in the first movie, and by the things that worked, I mean the hot and heavy scenes. Now in my opinion, this sequel missed the mark in all 3 criteria. To my first point, the sequel really didn't take a deeper dive into the polyamory lifestyle. I mean, truth be told, the only people in the movie that participated in anything close to polyamory were Nygil and Leslie. And even that's a stretch, because Leslie wasn't being open-minded to the lifestyle as Nygil was. And with Atlanta being one of the biggest hubs for polyamory in America, I just wish that there could be a movie that fully respects the concept of polyamory and the people who choose to partake in it. Instead, this movie just focused on putting a bunch of characters in a movie who just wanted to get freaky, and they wanted to call that poly life. But in this sequel, Nygil and Leslie are initially presented to be fully into the poly lifestyle. We see this with the introduction of the new character Rebecca, who essentially operates as a third wheel to Nygil and Leslie's marriage. But according to Leslie, the problem at hand is that Nygil is enjoying the poly life more than she is, which in my opinion isn't consistent with the events of the first movie, or what living the poly lifestyle is all about. It was Leslie who initially cheated on Nygil with her girls' night. Then she manipulated Nygil in participating in the retreat from the first movie, and this was so that she could have her fun with the other girlfriends' husbands. In this movie, Leslie gets jealous at the thought of Nygil wanting to be intimate with Rebecca. It doesn't make much sense, but I roll with it for the purposes of this movie. When it comes to Terrence and Laura, the deep dark secret in this movie is that Terrence and Laura have been having marital issues, and Laura cheated on Terrence with Tyrone after the events of the first movie, thus making Tyrone the father of Laura's baby. In my opinion, the problem with this big reveal was that there were no hints or clues to suggest that Terrence and Laura were having any problems towards the end of the movie, or throughout the majority of this sequel. Yet Laura knowingly allowed Terrence to believe that he was the father of her baby, and she even allowed her friends to throw a baby shower after knowing the truth. To me, this storyline seemed like it was placed in the movie solely for shock value, because it didn't make any logical sense to me. Furthermore, Laura was just like Leslie in the first movie, in that she cheated on her husband with her friends, she manipulated Terrence into engaging into the lifestyle, and she cheated on Terrence again just because he wasn't showing her the attention that she wanted. When a character like Laura has all 3 of these issues going on with them, it's hard to root for them or take them seriously. But then we have Tyrone and Keisha. We as the viewing audience knew that these two were not going to work out by the end of the first movie. But in this sequel, we don't see Keisha and Tyrone interact until nearly the end of the movie. Prior to Tyrone even showing up, we see that Keisha and Laura have been having some issues, but the movie doesn't do a good job at explaining why the two had any beef. We also see that Keisha is getting flirtatious with Terrence and Nygil, but not to the point that would raise any eyebrows, given all of these characters have been through. But lastly, the sex scenes in this movie were like child's play compared to the last movie. Aside from the first scene with Nygil, Rebecca, and Leslie, The movie was pretty dry when it came to love scenes, and we as the viewing audience are stuck with a story about a group of folks who meet up at Laura's baby shower, unbeknownst to them that Terrence isn't the father. But even with the addition of new characters like Marcus, Danielle, and Evan, it seems like those characters were simply throwaway characters, but they failed to move the story along in any way. But all in all, the movie was a decent watch. Unfortunately, I couldn't overlook how the story went completely left and how disappointing the ending was. These are my thoughts, but I would like to know what you all thought about the movie. Did you like it or dislike it, and why? Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.